Now this will change from model to model, but basically you have your analog inputs up here, and in this model we have 32 of them. And below that we have our mix outputs. They could be used for monitor sends, or even maybe even more creatively with matrix mixes out to separate rooms or lobby mixes. You have a ton of these, so you shouldn't be running out. We then have our main outputs here in the left and right, and then also a mono center if you're doing LCR or left center right mixing. You could even use this center channel here as a sub out if you wish. The 64S is the only Series 3 with the center, the mono/center. We then have a Talkback mic here, which you can route to any mix bus to talking to musicians on stage, or out to a matrix mix, for example. So you could make announcements out into the lobby, for example. Then we have our monitor outs here, perfect for feeding monitors in a studio. A couple of stereo aux inputs, they are normal to the left jack here. So if you just connect a mono source to the left, it'll pan right up the middle. But if you use a stereo source, both left and right, that'll pan them out hard left and hard right. We then have a tape in and out if you want to connect a stereo recorder. And then we have a series of networking ports. USB for connection to a Mac or PC, so you can use any DAW like Studio One, Pro Tools, or any of the other usual kind of suspects in terms of DAWs. The control jack in here is used to connect either directly to a computer or a wireless router, so you can remotely control your mixer. And then we have our audio network jack suitable for connecting to any AVB device like the EarMix 16M or any of the NSB boxes, those breakout boxes that Presonus makes. And finally, an AES EBU port to send the main left and right bus out to any digital source. That defaults to the main mix, but you can route other mixes to that AES EBU port. And the most exciting port on the rear panel is the audio network, which makes up a growing number of devices. The EarMix 16M here, they're an amazing way to give your musicians on stage a way to create their own monitor mixes. A single network cable can go out and you can daisy chain a bunch of these on stage. Also think about the possibilities in a studio complex. You could have a breakout box or a network stage box like this in every room, like a drum room or a master room, vocal booth, and then just connect them up with a single network cable rather than a huge multi-core snake. Now remember that this model right here, the 64S, you have 64 inputs but only have 32 physical inputs on the rear panel. To gain entry into the console beyond that, you'll need a network stage box like the NSB 16.8 or the 8.8, which is shown right here, connected through this port that I just showed you there. And you can also join them all together using the SW5E AVB switcher. So that is a bird's eye view of the console, both the front and the rear panel. Before we get into all the details, let's take a moment to get your hardware updated with the latest firmware. If your mixer or accessory has been sitting on the dealer, maybe floor for months on end, you'll need to get it up to speed. So let's see how.